All right, well, this video should be kind of interesting. So the question is from Sterling Treadwell, are there any old videos you did that you regret or wish you could do over? Been thinking a lot about this question ever since you posted it, and boy, this is a tough one to answer. To start off with, I don't really regret much because when it comes to doing YouTube videos and also doing YouTube as a career like I do now, YouTube is my full-time job, there are no roadmaps or blueprints to doing this. And so the thing is that, like 10 years ago, doing what I do now full-time wasn't really a thing. And so there's not a lot that you can look to for the way to do it correctly. And so a lot of us on YouTube who are creators full-time, we're kind of stumbling in the dark a little bit. We try things over here, we try things over here, we do our best. And in general, I release 2 new videos every single week, and I'm just marching forward. When a video comes out, I definitely care about the quality of it and what people think, but I'm on to the next video, which only comes out 4 days later or 3 days later. And so it's just constantly marching, ahead and trying to do the best job I can. I would say though that one thing that really I regret, or one thing that definitely is hard to do is I guess I should put this in context. The videos that we do, and this should be pretty obvious, are not scripted. When Kelsey or Kinsey or Reggie's over here, or Drunken Master Paul or whoever, John Hancock, we try to prepare as much as we can when it comes to the hidden gems and the buying guides and this and that. But we really just wing it. And I like that about my videos. It would be so much easier for us to try to script things and read off a script, but that's not what I'm about. I love the community aspect of it. I love the friendship that we have on camera. And because of that, sometimes I will ask things or say things that frankly we're just not prepared for, or sometimes I'm incorrect. I'll give an example. I did a series of We Hidden Gems videos a while back. And in my mind, I'm thinking we, but my mouth keeps saying GameCube. And it's so annoying because at the time when I'm recording that video, my mind is thinking we. And so I just keep right on going. I don't correct it or anything. And it's only later after it's published and all this, I'm like, oh my God, I was saying GameCube the whole time. That happens a lot whenever I'm thinking DS and my mouth will say 3DS, or vice versa. Sometimes, legitimately I get things wrong. And that's because there are a million things to try to remember. And again, we're really trying to just go with the flow, have a good time on camera. And I'll tell you what, it's nerve-wracking. It's easier for me because I do it a lot, but sometimes when some of the guests come on, you can tell they're nervous about it. To give you an example, when Crazy Joe came on and we did, I guess it was the laser active, he had cue cards behind the camera just so that he could, and they were written really big, so he could get the facts right. And I've done that as well. Sometimes I'll have a little piece of paper taped down below, but it never comes across as genuine. And so that's definitely one of my biggest regrets, is just the little details in videos that we might get wrong. It's so frustrating. And you can't really take down a video and re-upload it because it's just such a pain in the butt. So that said, would I do any of my videos over again? And the answer to that is yes. There's one video that I did a couple years ago where I completely missed the mark. And it's still up. I kept it up. To give you a little backstory, a couple years ago, Drunken Master Paul and I were going to, we wanted to do a tour of the United States. And this all came about because another YouTube channel, Anna from My Drunk Kitchen, who was bigger at the time, had successfully launched a crowd-funded tour of her own and easily got the funding for that. And she did pretty much most of what I wanted to do, where she got an RV, she got a crew together, she toured the US, shot video the whole way, and it was a huge success. And so what happens with me is that often people want me to go to expos and things like that, MagFest, all these places that are like thousands of miles away from where I live. And so Paul and I were thinking, well, maybe we could do that. Maybe what we could do is we could also do a tour video and try to raise some money to buy a cheap piece of crap RV, pay for all 3 adults to go, because we were going to take a month off from vacation, unpaid. So I was going to pay for that. We're also going to get equipment for the road. Anyways, and the amount that we're asking for was admittedly a lot of money. And what happened was, and the reason why I regret that video, I recently rewatched that video. I hadn't seen it in probably about a year or so. And I realized I was way off the mark, because what happened is it looked like we were going to go on vacation. It looked like that basic guy was saying, hey, give us a bunch of money to go on vacation. And it wasn't until over 4 minutes into that video where I actually laid out exactly what we were going to do. And that is a huge mistake, because people saw the amount of money and they were just freaked out. They're like, why do you need so much money to go on vacation? That's ridiculous, right? And the truth is that I didn't want to focus on that on the video. What I wanted that video to be fun. I wanted people to sort of see, it's like, yes, here's this guy, he loves video games, him and his buddy and my wife, we're gonna hit the road and basically tour the US. But the thing that I didn't really focus on was we were going to shoot videos and edit videos during that. It was actually gonna be way more work than I let on in that video. I'm gonna give you an idea. My plan was to release a new video every 2 days, like fully edited. I can spend 8 to 10 hours on one of my videos easily. And so we're gonna be on the road, we're gonna be shooting video, editing video, and we were also gonna live stream. So we had this thing set up where you're gonna be able to go to like a live Facebook page, log in, or YouTube or something like that, and see us on the road. We were gonna do game thrifting all in these little towns, things like that. So it was gonna be a ton of work. So out of a month, I was looking at a good 15 days of that month just solid editing. And then also we would have all this footage at the end of it, hundreds if not thousands of hours, where I would then, after I got back, by the way, I have a full-time job at this point too, I would be editing footage as well, Gamer Eats and I Hate You episodes and all that, for months afterwards. Huge amount of work. And ultimately, I did not convey that in the video very well. And so some people just, again, thought I was begging for money for a vacation. And that was simply not true. And I tried releasing a follow-up video with a little bit more detailed information after that, but after the damage had been done. And so, it's funny because that was a huge disappointment. We had put a ton of work in there. We had those little military coins designed. We had a sample of one of those. We had t-shirts, stickers, all this sort of stuff to support this tour. And we just worked for months on it, only to have it come crashing down. It's pretty interesting because at the time, that came out on a Friday, and immediately I knew something was wrong because it was not going the way I expected to. And, I had a lot of people unsubscribe, and I didn't know at the time. It was like, is my YouTube channel over? Is it over? But I'm pretty tenacious. And so the next day, I tried to do damage control, but again, I've got another video due. And so I basically just did the best I could and kept right on trucking. And yes, that day I did lose some subscribers, but immediately the next day, my subscribers were up. And they've been up ever since that day. So I guess the thing is that it's disappointing that that video and that tour and those things I tried to do did not connect with enough people. But you know what? Again, there's no blueprint for this stuff. I got to try things, and hopefully you guys will like what you see. And if not, that's okay. It's a learning experience, I guess the thing is, I don't want to regret anything as far as I don't want to look back and think, man, I didn't try that because it was going to be hard, or maybe I wasn't sure about what I was doing. I did my best on that video, and I just missed the mark. And that's okay, and I'm probably going to do that again at some point. The interesting part about that video was that while that failed, I took a lot of those assets and I rolled them into Patreon. Patreon at that point was starting to take off, and I was like, okay, well, I have all of this work that I've done for that tour. I'm just going to shift it over to Patreon. And that has been super successful. Patreon is the reason why I'm able to do YouTube full time. And again, it's people like you who support me on Patreon who make that possible and benefit from some of those things that we did in that video and preparing for that tour. So that's that is a very heartfelt and honest answer to that question. Again, I don't typically look back, but I do really appreciate the feedback that I get. Every day that I release a video, I am up on my phone looking at the comments to make sure I didn't screw up something too badly or piss somebody off too much. But then again, it's just right on to the next thing. And I love that you guys are on this journey with me, and I really appreciate that. So that was a very good question. Thank you. This question was asked by one of my Patreon contributors who helps support my YouTube channel and help shape the content of my videos. In addition to asking questions like this, they also get access to a private chat, an audio podcast, and early access to most of my Friday videos. You can also set the amount you want to contribute, and you can leave or change it at any time. If you'd like to help support my videos and become part of the Metal Militia, please go to patreon.com/MetalJesusRocks.